Hi friends, look what we did today. Yes, it was a very long day. There's lots of footage. I apologize, I did not have any idea. I'm learning as I go. I made several mistakes along the way, and that's what we do, but I also left it in there because I think that's important. But anyway, I surely didn't need to dwell on it like I did. And it's really hilarious footage. I'm 60 years old and I was wearing my glasses, but even I forgot the gusset. And so when you see that and you see me just completely measure and forget it, oh my gosh, there's a lot of blunders in this one, but I'm learning, and I did fix that one, and I left it in there. So thank you much, and let's get going.
Let's build a waterfall. Let's start with 8.5 by 11, lightweight 65-pound cardstock. You're gonna need 2 pieces, and we're gonna cut them both at the same time to save time. So stack them up together, put them in your trimmer, and we're gonna cut down the middle of an 8.5 by 11. So we'll get 4 out of this, and you're gonna need 8. That's why we're doing 2 pieces at the same time. So we're going to cut it down the middle at 4 1/4. That's half of 8.5 by 11. I don't know why. Can't get that in my noggin, but that's right. Okay, so now we have 2. I don't think I'm going to try 4 at a time. And we're going to cut them to 5 1/4 in length. And that one at 5 1/4. This one at 5 1/4, I think that's basically taking a 1/2 inch off the other end. But you want to make sure when you're doing this that they're very square around. Sometimes I struggle with that too, and a little trim here and there will fix things. So let's do the other one. 5 1/4. And 5 1/4. And let's check again to make sure everything is straight. I'll go with that. Yes, that's gonna work. Okay, we can put the trimmer away. We're gonna score on the top edge, and we're going to score a 1/2 inch on all of them. So take your time, get it in there nice and square, and you're scoring at 3.75, 3 3/4 inches. Okay, I'm going to score these and then I'll get back with you. Okay, let's score the last one together. Again, we're at 3 3/4. And this is lightweight cardstock, so you don't need to push near as hard as you do on the heavier weight. All right, we're gonna have to fold and burnish all of these down. And someday I will learn how to fast forward. And until that day comes, I guess I will just stop the video because this is the boring part. All right, back in a minute. Our waterfalls are all folded and burnished to be glued down. We need to cut us a base to build on. I'd much prefer to do it that way. I have put these straight into the book before. Ask me why I don't do that anymore. Sometimes you get a little off and you don't mean to. So we're gonna cut this at 5 1/4, the same width as the waterfalls. And if things don't quite work out, we're gonna do some trimming at the end. Save these again. You can use them for other things as you're crafting and building your notebooks. So that will be the same size as this. And we're just going to start gluing them down one after the other. Let's just get going. Let me sit down and get started. So grabbing the glue and glue that top edge. Some people like to trim the corner. And you could do that. Actually, I'm going to stand up to do this. We're going to glue it straight up to the top, although it doesn't really matter. What really is nice about this is see the side, line up your side. and push down. Okay, and here's, it will get tricky, but sometimes it's not foolproof. But, you know, you can trim anything, right? So let's do our second one. And what you want to do is you want to butt it up right underneath that flap that you just glued. You don't want to overlap. You just want to come right to the side. And again, check your side and check your side there, which looks a little not quite right. But you know what? We can fix that at the end. Let's just burnish that down and go to the next one. Checking my sides. Open up. This one does not. See that edge, that space right there? I don't know why he doesn't want to work. We're gonna not use him. And if the second one doesn't fit right, then that means I'm off. And I hope that's not the case. Okay, we're gonna go with that and not sweat it. I think that's gonna be fine. So I'll just cut one more. Sometimes you get them in the cutter, you're just barely off, and I tend to be very persnickety, and I want it to line up perfectly. And we have to remember in crafting, there is no perfect. This is handmade. Okay, that's the 7th one. It doesn't quite look perfect to me. And I made a few extra because sometimes that happens. So there's one. And that'll be number 8. Let's flip that up. Put that right up to that edge. Okay. Now, we've built a waterfall. You want to work them both ways, and they'll begin to work with you. Now, can you see right here? This bothers me. That one is off just the littlest bit. You see that? If that bothers you, trim it off. It won't matter, and I think I'm going to do that. Let me get my trimmer. Okay, so I'm going to pull out my Tim Holtz ruler. I love this thing because it's clear, and it has all these lines in it. It makes it very easy to line up things and square things, and it has this metal edge so you can cut against it. And I'm going to use my little finger blade. This is getting a little too persnickety, and some of you might not like that, but you know, some of you will want to know how to get it perfect, and take your general cuts. Don't push too hard, and just repeat. Might take several passes. Don't move your ruler, just keep going. Let's see. And I think I need to make one more pass. Okay. I like that much better. It was just a little bit, but hey, let's do the other side, and I'll be right back with you. Alrighty, it's just laying here in the trifold. It's going to fit really nicely, and we need to trim off this end. And so I think what I'll do is just cut a 1/4 inch off of this piece. And then when I glue that down, this can also act as a mat too. So I'm just gonna take my ruler, and this is why I like this thing. See the black line? It's easy to see that you're straight. And I'm just gonna make a mark at a 1/2 inch. I think I might have said a 1/4 earlier. I meant a 1/2. And then I'm just gonna pull in my trimmer and trim it off. Right above that mark. Also, if you get on the mark, it's easily erasable. Doesn't really matter. Again, save that little piece. And there you go. We've just built a waterfall. So let me think about the next step. Do we want to put our pattern paper down here first? Probably. I think that would be good. So let me grab that. We'll be right back. Okay, I'm starting to cut red mats for the back of these pages, so we'll get that in there before we do the waterfall. And I've been measuring it, and it ends up in 8ths, and it's just too much. And it's harder for you guys to follow. So here's what I did. I like to play the margin pretty close. You know, I just like the little tiny bit of white edge. So I just came up here and I laid it down, got it square, and I made a mark. I'm gonna cut right there. And I got it up here to that edge, made a mark, I'm gonna cut right there. So I'm gonna do that for all of them. Let's just cut it and see how that works out. And then I'll do the rest of them without bringing you along because I know it's boring. So let's just cut right at that mark. Sometimes I find if you cut over it, it's just a hair wrong. So I'm gonna cut on the other side of it and just erase it later. Or, even better, turn the paper over. Yeah. All right, let's see how that worked out. Yeah, I like that. That's nice and tight. And it still gives you room you can bend, which is nice. So I'm gonna do that for the spine, the back, the spine, and the back. All I'm gonna do is take my extra and lay it up there. Mark where I wanna cut, right there. And right there, kind of being in line with the other paper. And I'm gonna keep doing that and cutting until we get them all done. All right, you're looking at our waterfall. It's not glued down or anything. I did glue these down. I cut them all, measured them the way I showed you with the pencil. It gives me the much finer lines. All those 8ths and things are just too fussy for me. So that's the way I did it. And I saved the underneath of the flip and the top of the flip. We'll do that together. And I cut this 3.5 by 5. That's the size of a picture. And so you can see that when we get these in there, it'll fit, it'll accommodate that picture really nice. And it's gonna fit really pretty on there. All right, let's cut the last red paper. So we're gonna do it the same way, where we take a piece of red. I'm just gonna lay it up here and measure and mark. Apologize if my head is in the frame. And one thing I did not say, I'm not sure if I covered this like I should have. Let me get this up here closer where you can see. I'll turn it that way. You see where your bending lines are here, and I did not cover those? You never want to cross over your score line, because that way then the book couldn't fold. It would be all clogged up in here. So be really careful when you're laying your papers down that you avoid the bending lines. So if you had paper in there, it just wouldn't work. So let's cut this, and also know when we're cutting this for this piece, cut 2 of them because the back is the same. So I'm gonna just do that. Okay, let's double check it for fit. And that is going to be nice. It's going to avoid my line. I'm I'm gonna cut one more the same size. I'm just gonna take another piece of red and I'm gonna hold them together. This is the cheater's way, but it works and it's close to perfect. I'm gonna lay that on there. Move that down so I make sure that my wire is right side, not over. These old eyes. And cut. And then do the same thing with this end. Just double check that they're right. So you can kind of feel the wire that runs through here that the blade runs on, and feel your way through it. So those should be exactly even. So let's glue them down. Okay. Take my art glitter glue. And the other thing I said was when you make your pencil mark, sometimes you can see it. So I said just turn the paper over. Well, when you do that, that would work perfect. But again, I'm a persnickety one. You see that raised edge where the blade cuts down? Now you're on the opposite side. If that bothers you like it bothers me, a quick way to fix it is just burnish it down. And then you get rid of that little tiny, it's not much, but you know, it's there. All right, let's put some glue on this. Table's moving, it's on wheels. Push too hard. Okay, beautiful. Now let's do the other side, and then we'll also cut a strip for that gusset. Did I get too high there? I sure did. I went over my... Okay, we're keeping it real. I'm gonna show you how to fix this. Okay, I'm just gonna say most people wouldn't want to craft this way, but sometimes, you know, life is real. We're human. So what I did wrong was I measured this whole thing like a ding dong. Instead of forgetting, you don't, you know, you should measure from here to there and here to there. So what I did, you can still see a little red, but we're gonna cover that up. I peeled it back and no, I didn't peel it back. I took my blade and very gently several times went over it. Then I peeled it back and I scraped that off there with my finger. And I'm now going to put some more glue underneath. And we'll cover up the gusset area with some more red. As long as my lines, you know, my bending points are not covered, we're good. So there, reality, no blooper, we fixed it. All right, I'm gonna cut, let's see, I think, I'm trying to get my bottle in there. Let's check the other paper that we cut. It should be right. Nope, it's wrong. So remember, fold your gusset and measure both ways, both sides. You gotta clear that. So I'm keeping it in because that's real. So let me mark this and recut the edge. It's about it's a half an inch because that's how deep our gusset is. So let me cut that real quick. And we'll try not to make more errors because they're not fun, but they are real. They do happen. So, you know, you gotta know how to fix them. And you learn that by just making mistakes, which I seem to do a lot. But it all works out in the end with crafters. There are no mistakes in crafting. It's just always an opportunity to learn something new. That's the way I think about it. So We all make mistakes. Why hide from it is what I say. All right, let's get this one down, and then we'll get on to some of the pretty paper because the red is boring, but it adds to the final overall look. It just, to double matte something just makes it so pretty. So we're just gonna let that go like that. When we come back, we will put something on that edge right there, right? Probably, I don't know, we'll figure that out. But now we have our inside completely covered. We're gonna cover that either with red or with white, I'll figure that out. And where did our waterfall go? Right, on Dina's, you notice that it turned like that. The reason it does that, you just put it in there with a little brad, and we could still do that if we wanted to. You just pop a hole, well, or maybe a little, we put another piece of paper on the back, pop the hole into that, and just put it in there with a brad, and it turns. And the reason that would be a good thing is if your picture is going this way, you're all fine and dandy, but every now and then the picture is horizontal, and so if this thing turns, it's pretty. That way you could see the photos that are going this way, and then turn it back to see the photos that are going that way. So if you have interest in seeing how that's done, I can do another video at some point with that in there. But for now, I think we're going to pick some pretty papers. I'm going to cover that boo-boo, and then we are going to be rocking. We're really going to be rocking. We're starting to make some progress here. Okay, I'm about to measure the last, well, not the last. We haven't done the very, very back side yet. But this is the right side of this. I've got all these glued down. I'm going to cut this. I have my spines to put on. And I wanted to show you an easier way to cover this. Let me cut this real quick while you're with me. I hope this is not too tedious. And I also want to say, if you don't like matting it, you don't have to. You can do it any way you want. It's your album. You can go straight to the pretty papers and skip this step. But I think it adds to the strength of the album and makes your pages just I like it. And if you want to do it, that's fine. And if you don't, totally fine as well. And just go straight to the pretties. All right, but the way to get that on there, because it's wonky, just take your book and lay it out. Put your glue on there. Now these albums are supposed to be fun, and if you're the kind of person that likes the persnickety, that's fine. And if you want to go the easier, quicker way, that they're all beautiful, no matter how they're done. Just enjoy the process more than anything. All right, that's on there. And this one I didn't turn upside down, and if you can see, I don't know if I can get it up there. Right there, you can see my pencil line. I don't know if you can see that, but I have a white kneaded eraser, and that'll come right off. Not a big deal. So I'm going to finish covering this spine and that spine, and then we'll do the back as well. And I think we're going to put magnets in it because, as you see, it's kind of wonky. I like them with chipboard, and Dina's actually did have chipboard. I just didn't want to do the whole full out making that cover and spine and all that. This is the way I first learned to do them without chipboard, but they want to slide in. So I think if we put magnets in there, it'll help keep it sturdier. I wanted to try to do something that most people have, and most people probably don't have magnets, but they're available. Basic Gray is the brand I use, and they're available on Amazon easily. But that's what we're going to do here in just a minute. Okay, I covered the spines and everything, and now we're going to address my little boo-boo there. Remember when we were cutting something before and we had to cut the extra ½ inch off? Well, here's that little strip. Look at there. That will completely fix that. So never be afraid, never start over. When you make a mistake, just take it as an opportunity and We're crafters. We can fix anything. Just have to think it through. So when they're very fine margins like this, you know, you can easily, you gotta stay off of that bending line. That's just incredibly important. So there, that, we just haven't done the back. I haven't decided, I probably will just cover that with red, measure it the way that we've been measuring everything else. Probably will cut a piece of red for the top of there. And we're making some progress here. Let's play with magnets. These are the basic gray magnets that I'm going to use. You can get them at Amazon, which is what I did. They're really nice because they have adhesive on the front, well, they just went together, on the front and the back, the X and the Y. So we're going to pick 2 X's and 2 Y, or 2 I's, 2 X's and 2 I's. Going to open up the book. We want it to close. You want to hold it all perpendicularly. Sort of figure out you want about, that looks pretty square. And then you want to put them about an inch away because we are going to add pattern paper on top. And you don't want them, while they are thin, you still need them in there a little bit so that they get completely covered and don't have a bubble. So I'm going to take the adhesive off. This is a Cricut. This is meant for vinyl, but it's good at so many things. So I'm going to take the adhesive off, open it up, make sure I'm in frame, and I'm going to put it right there. Doesn't really matter. They don't really need to line up. Just, let's make sure I did this right. Yep, okay. All right, sometimes you wonder, it's been a long day here. All righty, so there's the second one. And kind of keep it in line. Right there. You don't need to fret over this. So put those on top. Take off the sticker, and revealing the adhesive. I hope you can see that. And this is where you need to be careful. I know I've said that before and messed up. It's been quite the day. Okay, we're going to stand this up. And we're going to get it squared. Get that edge squared. Get this edge squared. We're not putting this together until we are sure we are where we want to be. Because once they stick, well, as we've learned, there's nothing you can undo. But I'm going to go right there. Oops, my Trifold. That's not in there yet. My waterfall. So just put your hands inside and push on them, and they'll stick nicely. And there you go. So that'll hold up the sides of it a lot better. Alrighty, I'm going to start to decorate this thing. I found, you remember I showed you these yesterday at the paper pack, so cute. I found a die and I cut around him and actually cut his legs off, but can't tell. I thought I would put him on there, and I was thinking he was my front runner for the cover. But then I thought, how cute would he be? And he would fit so nicely, maybe as a front on the waterfall. For my snowman, not so much. So I'm going to turn the video on fast forward and just start cutting paper and covering things. So enjoy the ride. Alrighty, I have overestimated my chances with Fast Forward. I got an app, but I'm still working the kinks out of that. So I'll show you where I'm at. I went and found a die and cut out this is actually a cloud. If you cut around, you know, the clouds in the sky, but I'm gonna make it a snowbank and put him in it. And I cut a second one, and we're gonna kind of layer him in there, is my thought. So we're just gonna do that. And actually I'm gonna glue this down first. I haven't done that yet. I'm sorry that in the little last bit that I videoed when I was cutting out the snowman, I was way out of the sweet spot of the screen. I'm gonna get a new tripod Friday. I ordered one, and hopefully that'll give me better luck with staying where it's nice and staying in frame. Okay, just lay that flat and let's just leave it flat while we're playing with the snow here. I want to cover up, if I can, and I can't. I want to cover up that edge. I can if I cut my snowbank off, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a mark about right there and cut that. It's probably not in frame, but I'm just cutting that edge. Okay, so now that makes me happier because I've covered edge to edge. So we're going to lay this one behind. Do I still have space? Yep. And we're going to put him in there. Yeah. All right, so let's glue the one in the very back. Let's glue it down. We're going to start about up there. I'm going to make a mark, actually, so that I know where I'm gluing that. Put these glasses on. That'll probably help me, too. Decorating is always the longest part for me, because, I don't know, I have a sign on my craft room that says, what does it say over there? Indecision may or may not be my problem. So, yeah. Okay, so that's glued down. I think I want to pop this up a little bit on foam. And I got some little foam tapes. It may be a little deeper than I want. Let me grab one thing real quick. Sometimes I back them with chipboard. Let's see if that's thicker. That's thinner. I'm going to do that. I'm just going to cut me a piece of chipboard to fit on the back of this. That down, and that'll give us space where the snowman can fit in behind. I'll have to pop him up on some chipboard too. Actually, before I do that, let me snip off one more little piece. It's just a thinking process. Put that on the end, just so that end is not out there hanging. Okay. Okay, I just heard from a dear friend that her daughter daughter-in-law took their baby, 17-month-old, to the hospital with 105 fever this afternoon. They're testing the baby for COVID, and gosh. So asking for prayers for sweet little Emma, if that's something that you're into. I certainly am. I believe God is in control here, and I hope soon this COVID stuff will be just a memory. It has put an end to many a dream. I don't know if you've seen my other YouTube videos, but I often post, or I was posting my daughter's Rangerette videos. That's a dance team in Kilgore, Texas. It was a dream of hers to make that team, and she did. And then she's had 2 great years. And that last video on there, that was at a dance. They had a competition at they hosted one, and all the girls came to into that competition. The Rangerettes don't compete; they just perform. But her sister was there, her twin sister. Very lucky to have twin daughters. They're awesome. They're 20, and her twin went down to support her and watch her. And so that video, it's my favorite Rangerette video ever, and did not know at the time that would be the last Rangerette video ever. So I'm going to move him just a little bit. I just think that looks better. I didn't like that little space under his arm. Okay. I hope he's in frame. Move him back. Well, gosh, I thought I should be up that way. I'm learning. This is not easy. I'll tell you, this is just a lot to learn. Okay, I apologize for the shadows too. It's nighttime here in South Carolina. I want to keep this red out because I decided to use this sticker off the sticker sheet, and I thought it would just be better on red. So I'm going to fussy cut that out too and pop that up there. Let's see, let's start there. Let's get rid of the extra. This red is from some of the matting that we did. I always save the scraps because you never know when you're going to want to back something on the red, and sometimes little pieces are what you need. Just be careful when you're fussy cutting. Move the paper instead of the scissors, which is kind of hard to remember, but see there on that turn, I moved the paper and kept my blade going. Cut that off, it's in my way. Okay. My own daughter, I don't know if you saw her, then my videos on my YouTube channel before this tutorial were mostly family oriented. And so her fiance popped the question, and then that was all videoed, and so that's on there. And they were so happy this March when they realized their wedding wasn't till October and they'd be fine. But today they canceled it, and they're going to get married in the backyard just quietly. And then we'll have a year from now, a vow renewal and party there. But that's just COVID. Alrighty, so that's now back. That looks better. I'm gonna cut off, just check it. Any places that you didn't quite round, just go back and touch up. I can see a couple where I didn't quite get it right. Right in there. Usually it's in the corners. I think that one's going to be okay. I'm just not going to fuss with that too much. Okay, so I think that would look good right up in here. Oh, I don't know what's wrong with my lights. I'll move it over here. So should that be popped up too? Sure, let's cut some more chipboard. Let me get another piece. That's the other thing, when you're making albums and stuff, keep your little scraps of chipboard, because it makes a good spacer for these things. So that one will go there. This is a little wide for there. That'll do just fine. Okay. Okay. I think we're going to glue him down and pretty much call it an evening tonight. I hope to get more done today, but we've had some tripod trouble and actually broke the thing and I figured it out. I got it back together, but it took me down for a little while this afternoon. So don't put it in there upside down. That would not be good. So let's just go like that. And open it up and push it down. So I may put some little, because his arm wants to poke. Let's see if we can't take one of these squares. Where's my scissors? And just cut off a little nip. And stick it there. Let me do it for the other arm too. Okay, peel the back off. Like I'm shaking hands with a snowman. There. I'll keep his little arm secure, and I guess we'll do it on the other arm as well. Just take that off of there and cut a little piece. Peel the back off and press him down. Okay, now he's secure all the way. Ouch! And he's pretty cute. Okay, so that's our cover. Let's just recap where we've been, and then I'll put all these videos together and get this uploaded this evening, and we'll start again tomorrow. But here's our cover. Oops, our cover. We got our magnets. We got everything covered. We've got our waterfall ready to go on. We need to cover that. We made our little snowman guy who's going to go on there. We'll put pattern paper on at least the top one. Sometimes I don't do it on all the other ones because it just takes up space. If your photo's bigger, I don't know, sometimes the pattern paper is not the most beautiful matte. Sometimes it's better just to have a white background, I think. So we'll probably put him on there tomorrow, cover these in pattern paper, might build a flip out, I don't know, we'll see. But that's where we are, and yeah, so I think he's turned out really cute. We'll put something down the side there, and I think I'm gonna go with a sticker sheet, and maybe use that. Let's see what that would look like. Yeah, I may stick that on there. We'll have to cover that with pattern paper first and see what we do, but that'll be tomorrow. Let's just stick that back on the sticker sheet for now. All right, thank you very much for joining me tonight. I also want to say it's been a long day. I made a lot of bloopers and several mistakes, but you know what? We're crafters, and we can fix anything, and I hope you don't mind me leaving the mistakes in there. I think that's human nature to make mistakes, and why not embrace it, right? So thank you much for joining me. God bless, and have a wonderful day tomorrow.